The most dangerous assassins are the ones you never hear coming. In a sport that celebrates the loud, the brash, the theatrical, one man chose silence. No trash talk, no chest beating, no declarations of greatness, just devastation. Lionel Messi doesn't give speeches. He doesn't argue with referees. He barely celebrates. He answers questions in fragments, when he answers at all. And yet, somehow, the quietest man in football became its loudest voice. How does the silent one become the deadliest? They noticed it from the beginning. When a 13-year-old Messi arrived at La Masia, Barcelona's famed academy, coaches noted something unusual. He barely spoke. Not for weeks, not for months. For nearly a year, this small boy from Rosario communicated in nods, gestures, and, when absolutely necessary, whispers. The shyness never left. Watch him at Ballon d'Or ceremonies, the world's highest individual honor, and you'll see a man who seems to want to be anywhere else. His acceptance speeches could fit on a napkin. His interviews are famously brief. One-word answers. Deflections. Discomfort. Xavi Hernandez, his teammate of 15 years, put it simply. Leo is two different people. Off the pitch, he's the shyest person I know. On it, a different animal entirely. So what happens when this reluctant superstar steps onto the grass? Football loves noise. It celebrates the showman. The players who backflip after goals, who silence crowds with finger-to-lip gestures, who tell the press exactly how great they are. Ibrahimovic proclaimed himself God. Ronaldo developed a celebration heard around the world. Maradona's ego matched his genius. Even football's marketing machine rewards personality, controversy, volume. This is the arena Messi entered, a sport that demands you announce yourself. And what did he do? He said nothing. While Ronaldo declared, "I am the best," Messi remained silent. While Ibrahimovic crafted legendary quotes, Messi gave one-word answers, while others pointed to themselves after scoring. Messi pointed to the sky, and even that seemed reluctant. In the loudest sport on earth, the greatest player refused to raise his voice. And that made him terrifying, because while they were busy talking, Messi was busy destroying, without saying a word. Messi discovered early what others take lifetimes to learn. The most convincing argument requires no words. Every dribble is a statement. Every nutmeg is an insult. Every goal is a declaration, louder than any press conference, more permanent than any interview. When critics questioned him, he didn't fire back in newspapers. He answered with hat tricks. When rivals talked, he didn't engage. He responded on scoreboards. His feet became his vocabulary. The ball became his voice. And the net? The punctuation to every sentence he ever needed to speak. Pep Guardiola, who coached him at Barcelona's peak, observed, "Leo doesn't need to talk. Every touch of the ball says more than 1,000 words ever could." Some warriors use swords. Some use speeches. Messi chose a football, and he became fluent in destruction. April 2007. Copa del Rey semi-final. A 19-year-old Messi receives the ball in his own half against Getafe. 60 meters and 6 defenders later, he's sliding the ball into the net. A goal so perfect, so Maradona-like, it announced his arrival to history. His reaction? He barely celebrated. Camp Nou erupted. Messi just jogged back. The stadium screamed. The silent one was already thinking about the next goal. May 2015, Champions League semi-final. Bayern Munich. Jerome Boateng, World Cup winning defender, considered among the planet's best, faces Messi One-on-one. One feint. Boateng crumbles to the ground. A chip over Manuel Neuer. Goal. One of the greatest goals ever scored. Messi's reaction? A raised arm. Then, nothing. He walked back like he'd finished a training drill. Boateng, a giant of a man, left lying on the grass. Messi didn't even look back. Assassins don't gloat. They just finish the job. November 2010. El Clásico. Barcelona demolishes Real Madrid 5-0. Messi is everywhere, orchestrating, assisting, destroying. His celebrations? Subdued, almost apologetic, as if embarrassed by the brilliance. While others would celebrate for minutes, Messi celebrated for seconds. And then there was Wembley, the 2011 Champions League final against Manchester United. Before the match, tradition dictated the captain give a rousing speech. Carles Puyol spoke. The players listened. Messi said nothing. 90 minutes later, he didn't need to. He'd given his speech, through 2 goals, complete midfield domination, and a performance that Sir Alex Ferguson called the best I've ever seen. Puyol later reflected, "Leo doesn't give speeches, he gives master classes." Here's what made Messi's silence so devastating. It was a weapon. Consider the psychology. Defenders couldn't read him, where other players telegraph emotion, frustration after a miss, excitement before a shot. Messi gave nothing. A blank slate. Impossible to anticipate. You couldn't prepare for what you couldn't predict. Then there's the intimidation of indifference. When you dominate someone utterly and show no emotion afterward, you're not just beating them. You're telling them it was easy, that they weren't even a challenge worth celebrating. Gerard Piqué, who defended against Messi in training for years, admitted, "It's unsettling. He destroys you, and his face doesn't change. It makes you feel small." And while others wasted energy on celebrations, arguments, and theatrics, Messi conserved everything for the next attack. No energy spent on ego. Pure efficiency. Total focus. The difference between arrogance and confidence is noise. Arrogance announces itself. Confidence simply performs. Messi knew he was the best. He didn't need to tell anyone. He just showed them. Again, and again, and again. In nature, the loudest animals are often prey, using noise to seem larger than they are. The apex predator doesn't announce itself. It simply strikes. Because Messi speaks so rarely, when he does, the world stops. After Liverpool's devastating 4-0 comeback in 2019, Messi didn't hide. He stepped forward, took responsibility publicly, a gesture so rare, so uncharacteristic, that it made headlines worldwide. In 2016, after losing another Copa America final, he announced his retirement from the Argentina national team. 3 sentences. The footballing world panicked. And in August 2021, he sat before cameras at Camp Nou, the only home he'd known for 21 years, and wept. No speeches prepared, just tears. Just silence broken by sobbing. It was the most human anyone had ever seen him. The weight of that moment came from its rarity, like an earthquake after decades of stillness. When the silent one speaks, when the emotionless one cries, it's seismic. His words mattered because he'd hoarded them. His tears mattered because he'd never shown them. Authenticity, it turns out, is measured in rarity. While Messi stayed quiet, his numbers screamed. 800 career goals, 350 assists, more than any forward in history. 8 Ballon d'Ors, a record no one else has touched. In 2012, he scored 91 goals in a calendar year, shattering a 40-year-old record held by Gerd Müller. For 9 consecutive seasons, he scored 50 or more goals. 9 consecutive seasons. Most goals in La Liga history. Most goals in El Clasico history. Most assists in World Cup knockout rounds. And then, December 2022, the World Cup. The only trophy that had eluded him. He lifted it in Qatar, smiled, wept quietly. He didn't need to tell you he was the greatest. The numbers had been saying it for 2 decades. Every goal was a sentence. Every record was a speech. 800 statements, and not one required a word. Here is the final paradox: genuine humility and genuine ruthlessness, living in one man. Off the pitch, Messi deflects credit. In every interview, he thanks teammates. His celebrations never center himself. A finger to the sky for his grandmother, a quick embrace. Then back to work. He built a foundation for children. He visits hospitals without cameras. He remains married to his childhood sweetheart. He eats dinner with his sons. And yet, on the pitch, he takes games single-handedly. He demands the ball. He looks defenders in the eyes and ends their evenings. Both are real. Neither is performance. You can respect your opponents and still dismantle them. You can be humble and still be lethal. Greatness, it turns out, doesn't require arrogance. It just requires being undeniable. In a world that rewards noise, Messi chose silence. In a sport built on ego, he built his legacy on humility. He never trash-talked, never demanded recognition, never told you he was the greatest. He just was. And in that silence, he taught us something that transcends football. You don't need to announce your greatness. You just need to be undeniable. You don't need to shout your worth. You just need to prove it. Work while others talk. Execute while others celebrate. Let the results pile so high that no one can ignore them, even if you never say a word. True power has never needed volume. The silent ones aren't weak. They're focused. They're not shy. They're saving their energy for what actually matters. They say actions speak louder than words. Lionel Messi didn't just prove it. He perfected it. In the end, the silent one had the most to say.